Good morning and welcome to Face the Nation. I'm Margaret Brennan. Washington is waking up to what still feels to those of us who were in attendance, or even those watching on live television, to be an unreal experience. But it's an experience that's becoming more and more common in these times of political turmoil. Last night at the annual White House Correspondents Association dinner, shots rang out as President Trump and his cabinet, members of Congress, and hundreds of journalists attended the annual event honoring the First Amendment, freedom of the press. Secret Service agents quickly tackled the alleged shooter outside the ballroom following a brief exchange of gunfire. A Secret Service agent was hit during the attack, but protected from serious injury by his bulletproof vest. The president praised the quick actions of law enforcement that prevented the assailant from entering the ballroom, a breach which could have led to a more tragic outcome. We've got a lot to get to, including an interview with Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche. But we begin with a report from senior White House and political correspondent Ed O'Keefe.
Attending the dinner for the first time as Commander-in-Chief, President Trump took his place at the front of the room.
And we're going to get started now. So enjoy your dinner, and we'll be back. Thank you.
11 minutes later, as guests settled into their meals, mentalist Oz Perlman, a scheduled entertainer, was showing the President and First Lady a trick. Then, in the back of the room, plates crashed as attendees dove to the floor and under tables. Some could smell gunpowder. In 10 seconds, the Secret Service surrounded and whisked out the first couple. They nearly lifted the vice president out of the room. Surveillance footage shows the suspect, 31-year-old Cole Thomas Allen of Torrance, California, raced by magnetometers just a staircase above the ballroom. He was quickly tackled and apprehended. With the suspect detained, guests climbed up from under the tables and picked themselves off the floor. Secret Service began to secure the room and the kitchen. It started sweeping out other senior officials. The Treasury Secretary, the House Speaker, Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., whose father and uncle were assassinated. Also in attendance, Erica Kirk, whose husband, conservative activist Charlie Kirk, was assassinated last year. The White House Correspondents Dinner is one of the biggest events of Washington's social calendar, held at the Washington Hilton, one of the capital's largest public spaces. It's also where President Ronald Reagan was shot in March 1981 after speaking in the very same ballroom. The president, who'd wanted to continue with the dinner, was held backstage by Secret Service for more than an hour. When he returned to the White House, he and cabinet secretaries headed to the briefing room.
In that moment, when you realized there was a threat and service agents were telling us to get down, can you describe what was going through your mind, how you were feeling in that moment?
It's always shocking when something like this happens. Happened to me a little bit, and that never changes. The fact we were sitting right next to each other, the First Lady on my right, and I heard a noise and sort of thought it was a tray. I thought it was a tray going down. You know, I've heard that many times, and it was a pretty loud noise. And it was from quite far away. He hadn't breached the area at all. They really got him. But so it was quite far away, but it was a gun. And some people really understood that pretty quickly. Other people didn't.
When asked about the uptick in political violence last night, President Trump said he tries not to dwell on it, but called his line of work, quote, a dangerous profession. It was the third instance of a gunman in his vicinity in less than 2 years. Margaret.
Ed O'Keefe, still in last night's tuxedo because you, like so many people on this program and at this network, worked through the night. Thank you.
That's what we do.